Arrow is a SaaS-based, so software as a service based marketing and fundraising platform for schools. We've developed Arrow really in response to some of the challenges that schools face in trying to generate income, to engage wider communities and publicize their events and their projects that they're doing to support initiatives. It's great to have systems like Just Giving and GoFundMe, but they're really only half of the solution. Actually, you need a marketing engine and a communications engine behind those website pages for them to really be successful and really get the numbers that schools are wanting to achieve with certain projects. So today I'm going to give you a walkthrough of the Arrow system and the features and functionality within it. So what you'll notice on the left hand side is you've kind of got our key menu. Requests basically gives you the ability to engage with one of the team, book some time in if you need to speak to them about some support on campaigns or content writing or anything like that. We've got your inbox. These are messages that have come through your community site, which we'll go through later, and your community site, and they'll come in directly into this inbox and you can respond to those messages directly. We've got campaigns. This is your marketing, your communications area, and what that does is that pushes messages out through email, through the website, through social media channels like Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Instagram to actually engage those communities or those wider networks. We've got our fundraising section. So this is predominantly about setting up your projects, what it's all about, finding grants, recording donations, managing sponsors and volunteers. Your community site is really about if you want to generate lettings or services, and additional revenue from that. Contacts is your contacts database. We can link into something like Wand or into your MIS via Wand, and you can keep your platform in sync there, or you can add contacts manually. And your files is really where all your image files, your PDFs, anything like that are linked to some of your marketing and campaign posts are going to stay, so you can quickly access them when you're drumming up a campaign. So first thing we're going to cover is the contact section. So if I just quickly go into that, we can see it's a contact list here. We can see that we've got some tags for people. We've got understanding what their marketing consent, whether they're gift aid eligible. The system will manage any duplicates, whether they're entered in manually or accidentally imported twice. We can export contacts and we can import those in, like I said, manually, or you can do through platforms like Wand for an automatic integration. If I use the search facility here and I just look up Ryan, I can see some information about Ryan. So his first name, last name, obviously person, email address. I can tag that person, so I could say they're a parent, pupil, member, donor. So I can say that they're a donor and add these additional tags. And what that'll help with is filtering later on. If I want them to complete a gift aid declaration, they're a donor, they haven't done this before, I can create, and Arrow will send them an automatic email template to help them complete that. Or if I've done one manually, I can upload this into the system. We've even put in a sample declaration which you can download and put on your letterhead and stuff like that and send it across. And again, contact details. Great feature of Arrow is I can add notes. So if I'm having ongoing conversations, if they're a major donor or they're an organization or a company owner, want to do a bigger thing, it might take a bit of time for that to happen, so I can keep all my notes and information about that person there, and I can edit them. So if anyone else comes in and wants to have a look and just get up to date, they can read all of that if you've got a couple of people working on the project. I can manage consent preferences, so in line with GDPR, whether they're happy with photographs, email, postal communications, SMS, and any history or changes. There's a change log here. Again, that just helps you keep an eye on this. Obviously, we're expecting this to become quite big with contacts. You want as many contacts as possible, so all of that will be in there. So I've triggered that email off to Ryan to ask for his gift aid consent, and I'm just going to see what that looks like. So Ryan will get an email that will look something like this. We'll incorporate your school logo into that as part of the setup. We'll make sure that that's all dusted. Basically talking about gift aid and making that donation go further. And if he clicks that link, he comes to this section and he can complete his details and submit that information, and that'll be basically stored as a form against Ryan's name. So if you're doing gift aid claims, if you're claiming back the 25% from HMRC, that you've got that fully auditable, fully kind of accountable trail there, all automated for you, so it's really quick and efficient as possible. Okay, if we go back into Arrow, we want to have a look at some of the lettings that we've done. So if we want to add items, we can add classrooms, anything like this. You can create all these items that you've got available, and you can put some information and who people need to contact should they want to make a booking, or you can put link through to if you've got your own booking site. Again, it just adds a bit more dimension to it, and really brings you can see some of, I'll show you what it looks like shortly, but really brings some color and a new way of generating revenue from your community. And you can add, if you don't want to do lettings but you've got services, some people do catering, all sorts, we've seen everything here. You can add again those images, those services on there. In the fundraising section, everything starts with a project. So in Arrow, we're really about helping people with content. So there's a huge repository of content of various different projects that we've already pre-written by professional fundraisers, professional copywriters, which you can use. This is your content to be able to use, and you can select these projects and add them to your repository of projects that you want to do, because you might want to run more than one project at a time. As you can see here, we've got quite a few projects going on. If I click into the project, this is one that we're doing, so we're raising money towards a football pitch. I can see that my target's £20,000, and again, all of this content has come in from the template that we've got available, and that talks about why you need the project, the impact, supporting evidence, and everything about that. Again, all researched by our team, professional fundraisers, professional content writers. If I want to attach any grants from our grants and funding database, I can attach them here. So again, if I want to search for grants relating to that project, I can go to the grants database. We've got 388 grants in there currently at the moment. I can look at football, and the search will basically pull up anything that's relevant to football in the system, and I can see that that's there. And if I look into that, I can find out more information about the grant, who's eligible to claim, what you'll get next. And if I'm interested in that, I can attach that to my project for reference as a later date, so I don't have to keep searching through the item. I've tagged that, it's gone back to my project, and that's all sorted. Okay. So let's look at the campaign section. So you've built your community site. So once you've added your projects and you've added all that content in, that will automatically build your community site. So let's just have a quick look at what one of the community sites would look like. So this is our community site. We can see the school logo here. We can change the coloring and the branding so it fits in line with your school website. So this would basically, people would link from your school website to this site. And we can try and tie it in so it looks and feels as close as possible. If we want to look at those lettings I mentioned before, here we go. We can see some of those lettings or services. And again, the call to action, a lot of the content here is about, using these facilities will actually help young children. It will help him put investment back into the school, which is, a really good kind of value proposition for trying to engage your community in using your facilities or your services over others. If we want to add news stories, we can do that. So we can push those through the campaigns, and we can add these up, and it's a great space to just have these news stories, and you can publish those directly from Arrow. And again, we've got some templated ones which again you can use, which try and engage business sponsors, try and encourage people to support schools out and about. And again, part of the facilities that we've got on this community site, so it is far richer than just a standard donation page is you can get people to support you around volunteering and sponsorship, which all feeds back into the Arrow inbox, which allows you then to strike up a communication. And obviously if they engage with you, that adds them as another contact, so you're building your contact database. And ultimately, the bigger the contact database, the bigger the network of quality people who are genuinely engaged with your school and your project, the more likely you are to get that funding that you're requiring. Okay, if we go back to the main site here, we can see my football project. We can click into the project section. We can see a list. As I said, you might have a number of projects. I want to find out more about this football project, and there's the content that we wrote originally in the project narrative that's pulling through there, helping people understand a bit more about what's available. And they can choose to make a donation, they can choose to volunteer or sponsor this project, or just really spread the word and get it out on social media as a way to show their support for everything that's going on. If we go back into Arrow and we look here, so how do we've built our community site, we've got our contacts all set up and everything to go. We've set up our project, it's there, it's exciting. We need to get this communicated out. We need to let people know that they need to engage and there's real value with them engaging. So this is where we go into the campaign section, and we're going to build a campaign. So first of all, whenever we start a campaign, go to new campaign. We've got these templates, so these pre-written templates that are already there available for people to use. If we want to introduce them to our new website, we can select that campaign. Here we go. We've got 4 emails already pre-written there, which I can have a look at. So here's the email all laid out. We can add images, we can change some of the content, it's all ready to go. We can choose the frequency that we want to send these emails, so we can send them daily, every other day, every 3 days, once a week, once a month. And we can choose the group of recipients that we want. So if we've got any tags or grouping, again, we can just specify who's going to get that. We've also got some news stories, some pre-written news stories. They'll come out as blogs on the actual community site, and they'll be posted up there. Again, you can edit those if you want to. And if you wanted to supplement this with Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, or Instagram posts, again, we can add those columns, add those assets onto there, add that content, and we can just pick a date that we want to schedule this and schedule, and it will go. And the beauty of this is once you've got that campaign written, you schedule it, literally Arrow will take care of the rest. It will literally, when you specify, it will schedule out those pieces of communications which will go out on all your channels, and it just saves you huge amounts of time, gets you far greater reach, bigger engagement. And because there's consistency of message over a longer period of time, you significantly increase your chances of creating that engagement, creating that awareness, and getting that support that you need for your project. So that's a quick whistle-stop tour of Arrow. Hopefully we've covered a few areas of things that are, be really of value to you. If you've got any questions, please reach out to us. We're more than happy to help and respond to those as quickly as you can. Thank you.